for joining us for Ask Stacy and Amanda on Facebook with Bank of North Dakota. We put out videos every single week, so make sure that you turn on your live notifications and subscribe to all of our social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and even Instagram, so that you're staying up to date with everything that we are doing at the Bank of North Dakota. So today I am talking about some tips on how to stay on track with your educational goals throughout the spring and the summer. Spring, it's here. It's actually finally nice outside. I know spring, I suppose technically was like a month ago, but it's actually nice outside. So we're actually feeling spring. So we've been cooped up for a really long time. We're finally getting outside, which is awesome. So I guess my first tip on how to stay on track over the spring and summer is don't let this spring fever get the best of you. So there's a couple ways that, you can balance your time with staying on track with your studies and taking advantage of the beautiful weather. Of course, the first is going to be setting your study sessions for shorter but much more focused periods of time. And then when you do have a study break, use those study breaks to go and do something outside that you like, whether it's going for a bike ride, going for a walk, or maybe you just want to move your study session to outside in general, if it isn't too windy. Next, fight procrastination. I know, towards the end of the school year, you're looking forward to whatever plans you have over the summer. Maybe it's graduating, maybe it's, going to college next year, but fight that procrastination. I've been reading a couple articles on procrastination over the last few weeks, and they say that procrastination gives you that short-term reward, so you feel really good about avoiding that unnecessary task that not unnecessary task, but that task that you don't want to do by doing somebody else. So you're getting that short-term reward, but a lot of times what you're doing is only creating stress for you down the road, because the longer that you put it off, the more stressed that you're going to be about it, and the quality of your work probably isn't going to be the best. So fight procrastination, eat that frog, make sure you get your work done. If you need to, find someone else to hold you accountable. Maybe it's somebody in a study group that you've met, somebody in your major, somebody that you can really study with, so that, you guys can come together and stay on track through the rest of the semester. The second group of tips that I have for you is a little bit more touchy-feely. It's going to be mindful and pay attention to how you treat others and how you are treating yourself. Basically, your self-talk. So for high school seniors and even, college seniors who are moving on to whatever it is their next step, the last few weeks of school and even, your last summer before going on to, career, college, whatever, is going to be a period of loss. It can be exciting, it can be sad, it can be scary, you can be feeling really uncertain, and a whole host of other emotions and combination of emotions in between. So I think really some of the things that you can do to stay on track with that piece is just to talk about it. It doesn't have to, be with everybody. You don't have to talk about it all the time, but talk about it with somebody, whether it's a close friend, a parent, even a professional, if your feelings are really intense and really overwhelming. But, odds are there's somebody that's feeling the exact same way that you are, the exact same emotions that you are, and maybe it's somebody that you weren't even expecting to feel the same way as you. So definitely talk about it. And students, realize that, this is a transitional period that's really hard for your parents too. So you're not the only one going through a period of change. Whether you're the first student in your family to go to college or the last, your parents, have feelings about it. So talk to them. Don't just be like, oh, mom, everybody's feeling a certain way about this transitional period. Last but not least on this touchy-feely piece is don't start saying goodbye to your parents, your friends, other people that you have close relationships by emotionally distancing yourself from those people. I know sometimes it's, almost an automatic reaction to be mean or to pick fights or just not hang out with people, avoid people because you're like, after this summer, I'm not going to see them again. But keep in mind, you don't want to burn those bridges with those people, because somebody that you don't think that you're going to be seeing ever again, they might be a future coworker someday, or you might see them again and they might turn out to be your best friend, whether they were in high school or college or not. So yeah, just don't start saying goodbye. Don't be a jerk. Be nice to everybody, and especially be kind to yourself. Monitor your self-talk, and you're awesome. Keep it up. You're doing good things. So yeah, monitor your self-talk and how you speak to others. So now, going back away from the emotional stuff, let's go to some practical tips, which is more my wheelhouse instead of the emotional stuff, if you know me. So practical tips. Make a list of all of your accomplishments that you've accomplished over the last year, or even over the last 2 years. Time goes by so fast, and sometimes if you don't write it down, you're going to forget about it. And there might be something really great that you volunteered on, that you took a leadership role on, that will be really important to have either on your resume or, just in your back pocket to bring up a situation from that experience to use, in the future. Get to know your friends' parents as well. That's another practical tip. Get to know your friends' parents. Of course, you have that practical reason. They might have internships or job opportunities somewhere down the line. But also, they're great people with great experiences. You might be able to pick their brains someday, or, ask them questions about, whatever their career is or experiences that they've had. So yeah, your friends' parents are great people to actually get to know and reach out to. Next practical tip number 3, is financial literacy and having those financial conversations. So parents, students, doesn't matter who initiates this conversation, but somebody needs to initiate it, and you need to talk about it. Who is paying for what when your child is in college? I would say there's probably nothing worse than your student being halfway through their semester and realizing their phone got shut off, or they're without insurance, or they can't afford gas or whatever, because you didn't have that conversation about those expectations of parents are paying for this, students are paying for this. So is it an uncomfortable conversation to have? Yeah, probably. But it's one of those practical conversations that students and parents need to have, just so they're both on the same page with that. So tip number 4 on those practical tips on staying on track and getting ready for college over the summer, learn to adult. Parents, make sure your kids know how to be an adult, so to speak. That means learning how to do laundry and laundry related things, knowing that there is a difference between the different kinds of detergent that goes into the washer and the dryer and the dishwasher, and it's not all the same. So know that. Teach your child that. Basic car skills. You don't need to know necessarily how to change oil or how to do, the finer workings, but your students should know, okay, this is how I know that I need an oil change. This is how I know if the tires on my car are low. This is how I know, X, Y, and Z. I remember a student that I knew, she got a flat tire, and, she found somebody help her put the donut on her car, and she was going to drive back home down to Minneapolis on the donut of her car. And those of us who know, you believe it or not, you can't drive 70 miles an hour on your donut. That is not so good. But, she had never been taught. She had no idea. So thankfully somebody caught her as she was leaving. So just, parents, make sure that that your kids know the basics of car care if they're having a vehicle, and those other adulting things that, maybe you think they know, but they haven't been explicitly taught. Sometimes, you do have to explicitly teach young people how to do things instead of taking it for granted. So yeah, laundry, basic car skills, how to take care of themselves when they're sick, and how to ask for help. I'm going to put that one out there, how to ask for help as well. And the last practical tip that I have for everyone today is be mindful about what you put on social media and the internet in general. I think we all hear, the cautionary tales of social media and how it can come back to bite you as far as job prospects go, either now or in the future. But also, another thing to be mindful of is, it might not be a controversial thought or idea now, but 10 years, 20 years down the line, something that we didn't even think would be controversial might be. So just keep that in mind. The internet lives forever, so you want to make sure that you are minding your P's and Q's and really thinking and having some forethought to what you're putting out on the internet. So that's what I have for you today. Don't let the beautiful weather get the best of you. Be mindful of how you treat others and yourself, and then those practical tips. I know I kind of broke out a lot of tips into a couple different sections, but that is what I have for you today. We will, I believe, be back next week, so make sure those live notifications are on, and if you have any comments, be sure to leave them down below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Like always, if you do have suggestions for any topics that you would like Stacy and I to cover in the future, we are also taking suggestions for those. All right, everyone, thanks so much, and we will see you next time.